You're listening to the Therapy Sessions podcast for all your Chicago Bears therapy needs.
Welcome back. Here we are for episode 9 of Therapy Sessions, and we're back in front of you again after yet another thrilling, miraculous victory. The Bears somehow pulling a rabbit out of a hat, beating the New York Giants by a score of 24-20 in the final minutes. Not too dissimilar from last week's roller coaster ride. So that's the first bit of good news. The second bit of good news, and it's arguably even more exciting, is the podcast has its first sponsor. And that sponsor is right here in Geneva, Illinois, Penrose Brewing, who has kindly given us a taste of their new brew, Gridiron Boots. And I'm going to kick it over to Chris for a review of the brew and a breakdown on Penrose, which for all of you that aren't familiar, it is the best brewery in the area, top-notch, incredible beers, great people. So just a huge shout out to Tom from Penrose. We really appreciate it. Really excited. And I'll kick it over to Chris for a breakdown on the brewery and the beer.
If you're familiar at all with Penrose or beer, you would know that Penrose is probably one of the more decorated breweries in the Midwest. It's kind of invented one of the forms of, I guess, the SHI-PA, the Chicago Hazy IPA with Goofy Boots, about like 10, 12 years ago. That particular beer has won many, many awards. I think multiple gold medals for the Great American Beer Festival, things like that. It kind of introduced me to craft beer. I moved to the area about 9 years ago, which seems like it was yesterday, but I discovered Penrose like riding my bike right by it. It's in my neighborhood. And it really kind of taught me more about beer rather than just drinking 30 Busch Lights. Not that there's anything wrong with that, Nick, but there's more to beer.
Not at all.
But if you know me, my friends and family have probably spent a lot of time at Penrose, so it's very cool to have them help out with the show. And I will podcast for beer. I will work for beer.
Absolutely. We'll work for
this
beer.
Newest offering. Also, if you do know Penrose, you can get it now at Jewel. You can get it at Mariano's. You can get it all over. They have their core beers. The Jewels. They have their core beers, but this new one, Gridiron Boots, a play on Goofy Boots, but with a football twist. 7.7 goes down smooth, and more importantly, you cannot see through it. That is a real good haze. So thank you, Penrose. And,
thank you, Penrose.
We'll be sure to enjoy more throughout the weeks here.
Absolutely. Well said, Chris. And I just got to tell our audience, it's a 7.7% ABV, but it goes down so smooth, you would not know that it's that high octane. And it really is a true hazy IPA. And it's got something called a Crush Hyper Boost, which just sounds amazing. It just makes me want to crush.
Feeling that Crush Hyper Boost right now, Nick.
Absolutely. So to all of our listeners, go out there, get yourself some Penrose. You can check it out at penrosebrewing.com. You can go check out Penrose in person at its awesome brew pub in beautiful Geneva, Illinois. Thank you again to Tom. We're really excited about this and looking forward to this going forward.
It is very cool to have them because the Penrose has really been part of my Bears watching ritual for like a pretty long time
Absolutely.
now. So it's pretty awesome.
And really quick, I would be remiss if I didn't thank our number one super fan of the pod, Rob Williams, Superfan Rob, as we refer to him very fondly, for connecting us with Tom and Penrose in the first place. So thank you, Rob. We appreciate it.
I will say with this game, almost more than any this season, Nick, I did require therapy. I was misbehaving today.
From your co-host.
I'll let you describe it.
So, yeah, let's get to Chris and his misbehaving ways during the game today. So, during the game, when Chris and I are not watching together, when we're not at the game or whatnot, we'll text back and forth with our observations, our complaints, and in this case, Chris's cry for help. And I noticed a trend. I noticed a trend the past few weeks that around 12:45 p.m. to 1 o'clock p.m. for a noon start, I start getting the same text, and it's Caleb isn't seeing it. Caleb isn't performing well. Caleb isn't playing well. Caleb's got to
That's
play
better.
better. The other quarterback is outplaying him. He's getting outplayed by a backup. It's the same. It's the same
They're all
refrain.
true.
They may or may not be true at the time, but it's the same refrain time and time again. So I had to talk Chris off of his ledge today and put him in his place a little bit, and I just tried to tell him, give him some therapy, and tell him, calm down. Caleb
was
will
making me
find a
mad.
way. Caleb will find a way. And Chris, why don't you give your perspective?
Yeah, this, in a lot of these games, there has been a pattern, and you can kind of see it now. First quarter and fourth quarter, the dude is playing, right? And there seems to be something in the middle of the game, the second and third quarter. If I had to just put my finger on it, it's in the first quarter, they're scripted, and he's confident. They've been practicing it all week. They're drawing stuff up. I also think Ben Johnson is a little bit of a players, not plays guy. And in that case, if you've heard that term, is like he's drawing up some of these plays with very specific first reads to get guys involved. Like, who was the first target, Nick, today? Do you know?
Rome. Thanks to his dad.
Why? He's very intentional
Dad.
with that, right? And they're
Right.
pretty good when they're on the script. I mean, it goes again today. They score first, I believe, in the first quarter. They usually move the ball on those first two drives, and then once they get outside those first 15 off that script, when you're in the second and really the third quarter, almost all these games, he's struggled. He's been less effective. This game was particularly maddening. It was really driving me crazy, and it was the constant third and fives and fourth and fives that they were not picking up. And in real time, I'm blaming Caleb, not understanding, I guess, as you pointed out, that they had dropped more passes than any team in the league this year. We'll get to that in the unit grades. But it feels like in the second and third quarter that he's trying to play too well, or he's trying to play too perfect. He's aiming, he's thinking. You can see it. And what I think happens in the fourth quarter is it's kind of demon time, right? Is they get into these drives that they cannot punt, they must score, and that's when he becomes Caleb Williams, and that's when he becomes the player that he was at USC, and he's done it now multiple times this year, 4 to 5 times this year, where he becomes that player that is devastating to all areas of the field. And that's what I kind of think happens in the fourth quarter is, I mean, Caleb, one of his kind of traits is he doesn't turn the ball over. Whatever you want to say about this guy, he's got like probably under 10 turnovers in his career. It's close, right? And I wonder if that comes from just him being unwilling to put the ball into danger, or it's sometimes turning down plays. Jackson Dart's the opposite. That guy doesn't care. And sometimes you need that. But when you get down into the fourth quarter, I think he plays free. He doesn't care about turning the ball over. And he becomes this player that threatens you on defense, stresses you at all areas of the field. The other thing with Caleb Williams is, do you know what Caleb's top speed he's hitting on some of these scrambles, some of these like designed runs, like MPH wise? Have you seen this?
I have not, but I would imagine it's pretty darn good.
He's coming in like nearly 21 miles an hour. That translates to almost a 4.40. And as far as QBs go, I don't know if another one's hit top speed like that. And that is, again, like some of this guy's toolbox. The other thing I was really excited to see with Caleb today was Caleb is widely considered to have one of the top 3 or 4 arms in the league, just raw arm strength, which is kind of weird coming from his frame, because so much of arm strength is like your body, your legs, your core. And I wanted to see him in this weather in Chicago, because that was one of the big reasons that kind of took him. Drake May's playing really well, but he is a B+ arm, from what I understand. Caleb has a howitzer, and he was whistling through it, right? We should just go right to the grade on it. What are you going to give him?
Yeah, it's really interesting. I mean, you look at the outcome and you're seeing a lot of analysis and you're hearing a lot of commentators saying this was their favorite game that he's played. I don't know if I would go that far. I think the last 4 minutes were fantastic. I mean, he just took control. He had that look in his eye, and I saw some stat. He had, I think it was 188 yards on 2 drives. He accounted for 188 yards, passing and rushing, and 2 touchdowns. So you take those last 2 drives, and it was as good as it gets. If you take the whole body of work, I think it's probably a B plus, A minus because he won and he led you. And again, situationally, when it mattered most, he came through.
I think in sports or anything you do, you should always be concerned with process over results, right? If your
Yep.
process is good, the results will come, and that's what you really need to pay attention to. We've had a couple of these where the result has been better than the process, but it's football. It's the NFL, man. It's hard. Did you see some of the other results today? Did you see Josh
Yeah.
Allen? Right.
Not good.
None of these games are easy. I find myself holding him to like a higher mark than other Bear quarterbacks because I saw this player play I saw him his first play in college, right? I was a huge fan of this guy in college. I couldn't believe we were getting him. And I was always worried that we would ruin him or the Bears would make him a Bear rather than him elevate us. And that's the biggest thing going on is with these quarterbacks, can you elevate the team? Can you elevate the program? And today it was one of the best shining examples of him elevating a program. He had
Yep.
6 drops, probably more. Those receivers,
8.
8.
Eight
That's a
total.
dog shit performance. That's an unacceptable performance from an NFL team, let
Yep.
alone one littered with first, second round picks. And he elevated them, right? That's pretty good stuff. That's really, really good stuff considering the franchise we're talking about and the history of play at that position. I'm going to give him a B plus. I
Right.
they Caleb Williams, B plus. Caleb Williams is on track for exactly how many yards? Do you know? If
4,000.
you extrapolate
Just
it
a
out
hair over.
on the dot.
Yep. Yep.
If we can, I would really, really love to get to 4,000. Right? It would be like when I finally got a girlfriend. Running backs,
It finally happened. Running
Yes.
backs.
and then
Running
Nick, I
backs.
married her. I married her as soon as I could.
Attaboy. Attaboy. Lock it down. Lock it down, my friend. Running backs were a mixed bag. DeAndre Swift had a few really good plays. Monangai had another touchdown. Our guy, friend
That's
of
a
the
nice one.
pod. Yep. It was a very nice 8-yard run. And Caleb accounted for 60 some yards, 65 yards, I believe. His running game really came alive. He had that electric, what amounted to a game winning touchdown. So you take them all together. Obviously, you don't really include Caleb in that, but the running backs themselves, I guess a B, probably a flat
agree
B.
with that.
What do you think? Yeah.
DeAndre 13 for 80, Monangai 7 for 28, DeAndre 6.2 average, Monangai 4.0, 1 touchdown. Caleb adds 8 for 63 or 28 for 171. They're running the hell out of the ball. I thought it was a little bit interesting is that it wasn't the focal point of the game plan. Like it was pretty clear in the second and third quarters that they were going to try to slice and dice with Caleb, and it wasn't happening. And I think it's Ben Johnson looking at the Giants' strength of that team as a defensive line. It's all first round picks and littered with all pros. And I think the idea was that we're going to go downfield. We're going to take advantage of these bad linebackers and secondary. And that really didn't happen. I would say that Swift did look healthy. And I think that you have a very good, between those two guys, that's a pretty good peanut butter and jelly. They complement each other well. I can't complain, right? But I think it would segue into the offensive line, which I'm interested to talk about. What did you think? What did you think about them?
Yeah, interesting. I mean, Caleb was like running for his life on a lot of these plays. I saw, yeah, 0 sacks, but a lot of that was Caleb. You got to give Caleb a lot of credit for that because he pulled a major Houdini act getting out of a lot of those sacks. I saw Olin Kreutz tweet out, how many sacks has Caleb avoided
Yep.
today? So Theo Benedette is struggling. I'd be interested in your opinion in him on pass pro.
Benedict, again, I've said it like multiple weeks, is should not be playing left tackle for an NFL
Yeah.
team. He's a second year undrafted Canadian player. You have this random guy from Hard Knocks in there as like a physical profile of that guy. He's 6'7", 315 with 32-inch arms. Nobody in the world is built 6'7" with 32-inch arms. He's a literal Tyrannosaurus Rex, right? So his his best attributes are raw athleticism, and you see that when he's pulling, and kind of like a complete like nasty demeanor, which he has. You see it when he's showing up to the game like American Psycho or Bruce Wayne. Like, I
It's
love
awesome.
that, man, and like I would really like for him
Vince
to work
McMahon.
out. He is Vince, yeah. He has a severe physical limitation. Like Nick, I don't know. Like your brother's an orthopedic surgeon, right? Do they offer arm
Yep.
lengthening surgery?
I'll talk to
Is
him.
that a
We'll
thing
get
they
him on the
have?
show.
Like,
We'll get him on the
would
show.
that be illegal? Would that be illegal if we had him do that? As far
Yeah, there's a
as
workaround there.
Darnell, the reason he's viable is because Darnell Wright at this point is playing at a near all pro level, and it's a
All
huge
pro.
freaking
Yep.
deal. You haven't
Yep.
had a guy that you drafted and played to this level at like any position like a long time. Maybe Kyle Long. He's playing through injury. I believe he tore his UCL, his unilateral collateral ligament. Ask your brother. Um, did you see what he did to Brian Burns?
Awesome. I'll let you explain it. It's the spin move. He shut down the spin move, right?
Within the comeback in the fourth quarter, it's a shot Caleb hits downfield to Loveland. And most people would watch Caleb dodge a guy and do that. What like sick freaks like me see who watch the offensive line is Brian Burns, who has 11 sacks this year, by the way.
Yep.
Former All Pro, $30 million pass rusher, put a spin move, a jumping spin move like Street Fighter on Darnell Wright, who with one arm just takes him and drops him, right? Like totally awesome.
Like he stunned him. Like
He
he shocked him.
This dude is one of the best pound for pound athletes on the planet. We have him, and it's turned out to be a pretty damn good pick. Nick, would you trade him right now for Jalen Carter?
No. Nope.
He's not spinning on people as much. I was in the Geneva Del Nor New Life ward, a hospital, holding my brand new baby newborn daughter born that day when we drafted Darnell Wright, and I was so mad about it. It almost ruined the day for me, Nick. I was so
With a
mad we didn't get.
with a Penrose in the other hand. Your baby in one hand and
Yes,
a Penrose in the other. Yep.
I do have my neighbors sneak beers to me into the hospital, but like I was really mad at the time when we made that pick, but he has justified it, and he's really, 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 really been a big deal this year, a revelation. Um,
Absolutely.
they rushed for 180 yards. They're doing it every week. Caleb has cut his sacks now in like half, which is like a huge deal. And it's become an identity and a strength to the team. That
Yeah. Quick beer break.
I'd also add, I've been drinking Penrose on every one of these shows before Nick even brought this opportunity to me. So
A true fan. A true fan.
yeah, we were only going to take on
Yeah.
one sponsor. It was that or Rolex.
Yeah. It was a no doubter for us. Penrose all the way. Receivers were bad. Receivers were just bad. There were some bright spots, but 8 drops. When you have 8 drops, you're not going to get a very good grade. I guess you give them a C, a C minus.
The egregious ones off the top of my head, right, is the DJ. You have DJ and OZ and Zacchaeus both dropping balls in the end zone in the right corner on like
Yep.
crazy throws from Caleb. You have one with Rome where he's going deep, and it's like in the third quarter or maybe in the early fourth, a handful by Zacchaeus on third, fourth down. Um, they're not particularly great on scramble drill, which is weird considering who the quarterback is.
Yes, I'm glad you said that because I saw that really apparent today and it aggravated me. It's like, why don't are they not drilling the receivers on this? But Caleb is making magic happen, getting out of these for sure sack situations,
Yeah.
and there's just no one coming back to him.
The only thing I would say about it is a lot of the design of the Ben Johnson passing game is very specifically detailed to clear out guys in open space, right? So these guys have to run very precise routes where they're taking guys with them, opening spaces up, and they can't really see behind him what Caleb's doing, right? So Caleb, it's unpredictable where he's going to end up. So when you mix, it's really hard to marry precise detail with unpredictable music making, right? So it's math and it's music, and that's been a lot of the combination of this. And it's probably why you see like the tight ends and the backs being kind of his guys he's going downfield to. But there is one play that he does all the time, and that is the roll to the right and then the off like 2 feet, like kind of like a jump man logo throwing onto the right sideline.
Yeah,
And for some reason, these guys keep dropping it. I don't know. We need to get them a jugs machine or something. Um, Tight ends.
tight ends, and it's a perfect segue because just on your last point in terms of drops, who has shown to me at least who has shown the strongest hands on the team? It's got to be Colston Loveland. I mean, the catches he made today, the one he made, it was a little bit behind him, which was a absolute gotta have it moment on that second to last drive with about 4 minutes left. Caleb ejects from the pocket, evades pressure from that ridiculous Giants defensive line, and throws a one of those just jump man passes
Laser.
right at Colston, just a laser, and it was behind Loveland. Not an easy catch,
Yeah.
but he just absolutely
He brings
snags
it
it
in.
with both hands.
Nobody in the league is targeting tight ends downfield more than the Bears, and that's like all Loveland. And that's a pretty
Yeah.
unique thing that you have this tight end able to threaten these seams downfield. So that would get us to defense.
Yes, defensive line.
All right, go ahead.
Defensive line was solid. Montez Sweat again, and this time a sack and a half. Yeah, he had 1.5. And then I think Dexter had a half sack. I thought they got decent pressure, and then you had that. We can get to it in the secondary with Chauncey bringing the heat, but
We might have a
give the
dog
defensive
there,
line a B. Oh, absolutely.
as a
He's been
unit.
tagged.
As a unit, they played about as well as they can, considering that they're down like 4 or 5 starters. They gave up 20 points. Giving up 20 points, basically in any NFL game, you deserve to win. Coming off the performance last week, and in the situation they were in the second half, they played really well. They played resilient. They kept themselves in the game. Linebackers.
Linebackers, well, I'll start with the worst, which was Noah Sewell.
Yeah, he was
game
getting
for him.
torched on Twitter.
Not a good game for him. Terrible penalty. You and I were texting about it.
Yeah.
Just that helmet to helmet personal foul, which really kind of screwed the Bears over on that drive. But Edmonds continues to play well. You can't say anything bad about
I
him.
think he's an all-pro.
Wow, playing at a high level.
Last play of the game. What happened?
Did he get a piece of the quarterback, the arm?
Jermaine comes and he hits Wilson, right? He's every week he's making these plays. He's outstanding in coverage. They need to get Edwards back. You have an A with an F, so I would give him a C between those two guys. I think Hippolyte secondary.
Secondary. I mean, you got to start with Chauncey. He was fantastic. The
Dog.
2 sacks.
Nick's a dog.
Absolute dog. Yep. No, he was on my list coming into the show. He's an absolute Dr. Nick dog of the week.
Nick, I didn't even realize it until I looked up the box score getting ready to do this. Did you see his box score?
Crazy. Like 7 tackles or something and a
9
couple for
tackles,
loss.
2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, and 2 QB hits.
Awesome.
That I think gets us to special teams.
Special teams, bad again on coverage. And, I think Cairo had 1 field goal attempt, which he made, but then there were other field goals which he couldn't attempt because of his range, but also because of the weather. So, I don't know. You give him a C plus, I guess.
I think they were so hellbound on going for it constantly because they knew that Cairo's range and that weather is like 40 yards. Coaching.
Coaching was interesting. You get the bump because they won the game. I didn't think the play calling was as creative today. And I thought some of the play calls on second and third down were a little curious. But I understand that you're game planning against a defensive line that is one of the very best in the league. So you have to make some modifications. You can't just ball out like you did last week against that porous defense. So I don't know. I give them a B plus because they won the game.
Yeah, there was a trick play on there. I don't know if you saw it. On that, I think it was the Monungai touchdown drive. There's a play, it might have even been third down, where he hits in the deep red zone. Um, he hits Odunze on like a 10-yard in, and Odunze turns it up and gets inside the 5. And then if you look on the replay, it's pretty clear that it was supposed to be a hook and ladder to
Wow.
DJ, and Rome didn't do it. He turned up instead, and yeah, they had something on there. It was kind of interesting. Um, what I think had happened on a lot of these third and fives and fourth and fives is they asked Caleb to read it out. But I mean by that is there's no trick play. There's no, hey, this is like a very designer play. It's we're gonna call Y stick, Y cross, slant flat. We're gonna call pretty standard plays, and we're gonna ask you to drop back, read it, and find the guy. And he was kind of largely doing that. He was a little bit inaccurate on a lot of them, and he was getting let down by a lot of them, right? I do think when I complained in past weeks about them babying him, right, is they didn't do it this week. They actually asked him to play big boy quarterback, and he ended up doing it, but it took a while to get there in the second and third quarter. So, Nick, who do we got next week?
Next week we have the Vikings in the division. Big game.
You got to beat JJ McCarthy next week, dude. You got to do it.
Yep.
This game next week is going to be a big deal in their sudden playoff hunt. The Bears, as of right now, for the first time in 5 years, are in the playoffs at midseason. The playoffs started today. The Bears will be the 7th seed. But like the Vikings have eaten your lunch for years now. Put them out of their misery next week, Caleb. Do it. And do it in Minneapolis. One of the themes of this year has been them exercising demons.
Yep.
Go and right the wrong from week 1. Nick, I think I mentioned it today, or I think I told you of like how lucky we are to start doing this during this cool season they're having and not like last year.
Oh my goodness.
Because I think you were like broaching me about it last year. You had mentioned it, right?
I think
and
so.
it was so brutal. And this team and Chicago sports in general have been so not fun over the past really, really, really long stretch of time here, like 5, 6, 7, 8 years. And to have the Bears contending for a playoff spot in November, to have the Bulls playing decently well. If they get 10 over, me and Nick are going to take our kids. Cubs made the playoffs.
Blackhawks
Let's not
playing
talk
well.
about the White Sox. Blackhawk Bedard, I believe, is leading the NHL in points.
I think if you can get 2 or 3 division wins, you have a really good shot at 10 wins and the playoffs. Let's take the fairy tale a step further. How cool would it be if the Bears made it to the playoffs and won their divisional round and just advance to win a playoff game. I mean, that would be pretty incredible.
They brought it up. They brought it up during the game. I was at the last Bears playoff win. Do you know what it was?
Seahawks.
Yeah. And it was a crazy. The Bears were up 21-0 in like the first 8 minutes of that game. It was a party. That whole game was so much fun, right? Like everybody, there was no drama to it. Cutler had like 4 touchdowns. It's really crazy. And I could not have ever imagined that 15 years later, I would have 3 kids and a podcast complaining how I haven't seen a Bears playoff win since. The fact
sure.
that we're allowed to dream like this 9 games into the season hasn't been a thing in 5 years, man.
It's been a long time.
I say
Yep.
enjoy it. Nick, once you get your Penrose up, until next week.
Until next week. Cheers.
Go Bears!
Go Bears.